Hey guys, it's Lindsay again. Thank you for being here in this second free training video. Um, Today we're going to talk about a new way to think about your photography business. But before we get started, I just wanted to tell you a little story about me. So most of you know or have read that I have built my photography business 2 times. The first time was in San Diego and I did it organically, and it did end up being successful, but it took a long time to get there. The second time was when we had an unexpected move to Austin and I was sort of forced to start over. This time I built my business with much more intention and purpose, and my success was fairly quick the second time around. Something I haven't really shared is that prior to being a photographer, I was a marketing director for Brookfield Homes in San Diego. I worked with multi-million dollar budgets. I was very successful at implementing some new marketing strategies. I absolutely loved this job. It was so fun. And I also have a BS in marketing from San Diego State University. So I'm telling you this to illustrate that in starting my photography business, I came in with a lot of knowledge about marketing and business. And despite this, I'm embarrassed to say how terrible a job I did at setting up my business the first time. And I've thought a lot about this because I still am in shock when I think back to how much I knew and how much I didn't implement the first time. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was uncomfortable marketing myself. Photography is such a different business. It is providing art, which is very personal. It's providing a service. It's actually providing a product, which are the digital photos, or if you offer print. And there's just a different mindset around it rather than creating a commodity that isn't as personal. So, plus I wasn't working with someone else's money. I was working with my own money. And I went from a very secure, high-paying job to an entrepreneur, which is so different. And you have to wear so many hats as an entrepreneur, and you're not just doing the photography, but you're doing the business side. And I've had so many students say how much work it is and how they weren't expecting the amount of work that it takes to actually run a business. So, and I do admit that it does take a lot initially, but if you set it up the right way, it's definitely something that's just working in the background and you can focus on your photography. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. Okay, so now that I shared my embarrassing story, I wanted to address money mindset first because I have worked with a lot of students and this seems to be a huge hurdle to overcome. Setting pricing that's profitable and being effective with money. So I just wanted to talk a little bit today about some things that might shed some different light on how you view money and pricing. So the deal is you're always going to find a photographer who you think is better or a reason to put off raising your prices. Change is messy and uncomfortable. It just is. Alex Hormozy, sorry. He is an entrepreneur and I follow him on Instagram and I love his very direct, kind of cutthroat way of thinking about things. And he has a quote that says, "Anxiety comes from many options but lack of priorities, which is why it feels like paralysis, looking everywhere but moving nowhere. Solve anxiety with a decision." So I'm telling you today that if you're looking outside of yourself, if you're looking at other photographers, if you're looking at your clients to look for validation in your pricing, you're probably feeling anxious. You have to look from within. You are good enough to charge your worth and commit to building a profitable and sustainable business. And today I want to talk about something I learned from Sue Bryce. If you don't know who she is a fantastic portrait photographer. She focuses a lot on sort of a modern styled shoots, particularly for women. But she also has a lot of photography education. And she says that life and commerce are a perfect balance of giving and receiving. And if your giving and receiving are out of balance, you don't have a business, you have a charity. And this is not a good business model. So for a visual, if you put up both your hands in front of you and your palms are out as if you're receiving something and they're equal, so they're right in front of you, your left hand represents leaving and your right hand represents receiving. So, and your hands should be right in front of you and balanced. But if your left hand or your leaving hand is always in front of you and you're always giving, then you will be exhausted and your passion for photography will quickly wane. If you are looking for your clients to validate your pricing, like if you think that you just create the most beautiful work and your clients will, and potential clients will come to you, or they'll find you and they will insist on paying you a high price, or they will insist on paying you, that will not happen. Your pricing has to come from you. You have to establish the price that works for your business. And to use a strong word, demand to be paid that. Just today, I had an email from a client who I took her maternity photos, and she just had the baby, and she said that she didn't book newborn photos because of pricing. And she asked me if there's any way I could give her a discount and if there's any way I could fit her in this week. Now, I'm making this video, it's the middle of November. I am slammed. It is by far my busiest month. So even if it wasn't my busiest month, I haven't responded to her, but I am going to respond to her and say, thank you, but no. The minute I start discounting, it is a slippery slope. And although I loved taking their maternity photos and I would love to keep them as clients, I can't give her a discount. So I have to keep my two hands even. I have to keep my receiving hand out. Learn to say thank you and put your right hand forward to receive. It's so important. Another illustration of this that doesn't really have to do with photography as much, but it might hit home for you. If you're the kind of person who lends somebody $20 and the person goes to pay you back and you're like, oh no, it's no big deal, it was just $20, then you might likely be the type of photographer that's looking for validation outside of yourself for your pricing or for payment. So if we are aware of this, it becomes much easier to combat it or have things ready on the go. And if you don't feel comfortable, if you receive an email like I just got today about a discount and your inclination is to say yes, just sit on it, just wait on it until you feel comfortable saying no. And it's much easier when it's an email or that kind of communication. The hardest is when somebody puts you in a difficult position and you're talking to them face to face. So it's good to just be aware if you're like this and come up with strategies in your mind to just words to say. So what you're looking at on your screen is Sue Bryce's Wheel of Misfortune. And I get deep into this in in Systems for Success, the photography business course that I offer, we have a whole section on money mindset, and I do talk about what I just talked about, the giving and receiving, but I go deeper into some of the areas that might catch us, like avoidance, not receiving, overgiving, and not having boundaries. So I just wanted to show you this because it might hit home with you, but I do go deeper into this in the video in Systems for Success. I do feel like as photographers, the ones that get us the most are avoidance, are not receiving or not having our right hand out. Overgiving, I know this is a huge one for me that I have to combat or have strategies set up for myself so that I don't overgive. And of course, no boundaries. So the last thing I want to leave you with about money mindset is you're never going to feel like you know what you're doing. Figuring it out isn't part of the game. It is the game. It is constant. I'm constantly adjusting and figuring things out and pushing my limits and pushing my boundaries. The fact that you don't know means you're growing rather than staying comfortable. So it's okay if this topic makes you uncomfortable, or you recognize some of these tendencies in yourself. It's okay. It's just part of the game. It's what we're doing, and it's why we're all here to help each other. Okay, so onward. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is how you set up your business. And I definitely touched on this in the last couple of videos, but I really wanted to emphasize how I see my business and what everything is aimed toward. So I think it's Zig Ziglar that says, if you aim at nothing, you'll get there every time. This is so true. So what are we aiming toward in our business? I think that most photographers aim for a lot of clients. And I would say this is not the correct thing to aim for. What you are aiming for is ideal clients. This is the baseline of your whole business, is good clients. And what these good clients look like is different for everyone. And that's the beauty of it. Like, everybody's business model looks different. But the one thing that we all have in common is that we need ideal clients to be successful. Because if we don't have ideal clients, we don't have clients who are valuing us. We don't have clients who are looking at us as the experts. We don't have clients who are willing to pay what our prices are. We don't have clients who respect our time and what we are offering. So it really helps to think about your business in this way, that the main thing you are going after is ideal clients. And the way that we do this is focusing our marketing efforts on Google. I do this through Google Ads and dialed-in SEO. There are a few, so I have that over here. There are a few subsidiary type things that I work on too. I do pin to Pinterest. I use YouTube a little bit, and I go into both of these in Systems for Success. And I'm not totally off of social media, but it is not something that I rely on. I have gone, actually, almost every year I'll go months without posting because I'm just tired and I don't want to, and it really doesn't make a huge difference for my business because I have it set up that way. If I had it set up where I had to be constantly on there showing up, it would just be, my business would look a lot different. Now, I am not bashing on you if you like this type of marketing. There are certain people that I think it works really well for. I'm just not one of them. I have 3 kids. One of them's in high school, one of them's in middle school, and one of them's in elementary school. We are busier than I've ever been. It is crazy. So my time is so precious. So I love that with Google, I have my ad set up, I have my SEO dialed in, and I don't really have to do a lot beyond that. I mean, I would say every quarter I'm kind of like tweaking, getting ready for the next quarter, tweaking maybe my ad copy a little bit, or my ad headlines, and thinking about blog posts to write, or reaching out to publications to try to get published so I get a backlink for my website. But this is like minimal time, and it's completely doable and not overwhelming. So that is my main focus on how I get ideal clients. I will say that starting your business this way, I think, takes a teeny bit more patience than the social media thing, because you're building it the right way. You're laying a solid foundation. And Google does take a little bit of time. It has Google Ads, you see more immediate results. SEO obviously takes longer to build through. But even with Google Ads, I give, in my mind, it's about 6 to 8 weeks to kind of start seeing it rolling. But the cool thing is once you have it set up, it's sort of like a snowball. It goes and it goes, and then all of a sudden you're like, I have so many inquiries, I don't know what to do with this. So it does take a little bit more time initially, but in the long run, oh my gosh, it's just the better move. So the baseline for my whole business is finding ideal clients that work for me. And I do this by having a clear business blueprint. I know exactly who my ideal client is. I have branding set up to talk to that ideal client. I have my pricing set up to be profitable and to work for me, because I am running a business. My website and portfolio is my selling machine. I'll be honest, I hate sales. I love marketing, but I hate sales. I am so grateful that I have my website set up in a way that is doing the heavy lifting for me. So I'm just finishing it off when people are reaching out. I talked about the Google Ads, Pinterest, SEO. And then the client experience is also super, super important. And I spoke about this a little bit in the last video, how your client communication and the system you have set up to take your clients through is so important. It's important to save time for you. It's important to stay consistent for them and what you're saying. It's important to kind of educate them what you are providing and what your expectations from them. So these are all things that we go over in Systems for Success. I'm so proud of this model that I have created because it works so well for me. I've been in my business for 12 years now, and I still enjoy it. I enjoy it more now than I ever have, because I have all this set up in a way that serves me, that has clients reaching out to me, complimenting my work. And it's just very, very rewarding. So I hope this helped give you some guidance on your pricing and what you should be aiming for. And I hope it also gives you confidence to do what you need to do, be in the messy middle, know that it takes time. Anyway, so in the next and final video, I'm going to show you my exact process of how I do all of this. And thank you so much for being here. As always, reach out with any questions. I truly love helping other photographers build their business.